Hi, I'm Mary Summers. I'm the director of the Financial Aid Office at the University of Nebraska Kearney. I've been working at UNK for almost 30 years, and I just love working here. I love working with our students and our faculty, and I'm really happy that you're considering transferring to UNK and using a UNK education to complete your educational goals. My favorite day at UNK is always graduation day because it's a real privilege for us to see the students we've worked with over the years walk across the podium and get their diploma. So our goal is to cover how to establish eligibility for different types of financial aid, specifically need-based financial aid and scholarships. We're also going to talk about the FAFSA and how we process the FAFSA here at UNK. And finally, we'll talk about any special circumstances that could be impacting or even concerning you about the financial aid process and how we can help you with those. So let's get started by talking about the very first step to establishing eligibility at UNK. And that begins with the admissions process. On the application for admission, you're going to provide us with information about the prior schools you've attended, your grades, things like that. That's all information that we use on the financial aid side to establish your eligibility for different types of aid, especially scholarships. I'm going to talk a little bit more about scholarships later on in the presentation, but I guess I just want to emphasize right now that if you're really interested in looking at UNK as the school to complete your degree, then the place to begin is applying for admission. Then, after you've done the admissions process, you should go ahead and complete the free application for federal student aid. And for the 21-22 academic year, the FAFSA becomes available on October 1st. Now, you may have done the FAFSA at the previous institutions that you've attended, and if so, you've been familiar with it. You know how it works. But if you've not needed to complete a FAFSA at your prior schools, then you're going to want to get a federal student aid username and password at studentaid.gov. That's something you can get done right away. And then starting October 1st, the FAFSA is available for the 21-22 academic year. The FAFSA requires you and potentially your parents to provide tax information from calendar year 2019 on the FAFSA. The best way to do that is to actually download the tax information right out of the IRS database onto your FAFSA. That's called IRS data retrieval, and we highly recommend you use that option if it works for you. Once you submit the FAFSA, the data is run through a mathematical formula that results in our knowing your eligibility for various types of financial aid, especially need-based grant aid. So the FAFSA is required to establish that eligibility as well as your eligibility for other types of financial aid, including federal college work study, which is the opportunity to work part-time while you're going to college and be paid through that program, and also the federal direct student loan programs. The student loan programs are programs that you may have taken advantage of at your prior institutions, but if not, here at UNK, we'll walk you through the terms and conditions of the loans and give you good information to help you determine whether or not you want to take advantage of them to complete a University of Nebraska degree. I do want to make sure that I emphasize something else that is important for Nebraska residents who might be considering transferring to UNK, and that's a program called the Nebraska Promise. The Nebraska Promise does require the completion of the FAFSA, and it is essentially a commitment that if you're a Nebraska resident, you complete the FAFSA on time, and you're Pell Grant eligible, or your family income is $60,000 or less, that the grant and scholarship aid you receive from the university will at least cover 30 credit hours of tuition a year. That's the Nebraska Promise commitment, and we don't want you to miss out on that opportunity if you're a Nebraska resident. April 1 is the due date for the Nebraska Promise commitment. So you must complete the FAFSA by April 1st of 2021 in order to receive the Nebraska Promise commitment. So that's something to make note of. Now I want to move on and talk a little bit about scholarships. Scholarships at UNK are awarded primarily based upon the academic work that you've already done at your prior institutions. And that's information you're going to report on the application for admission. So the due date again is April 1st for scholarship consideration. You must be admitted by April 1st in order for us to determine whether or not you qualify for academic scholarships at UNK as a transfer student. We provide transfer region scholarships, transfer scholarships, and other scholarships to transfer students, and evaluate your eligibility for those based upon the information on the application for admission. But additionally, if you go to the UNK scholarship page and indicate that you're a transfer student, you'll see that there's some separate scholarships for transfer students that require the completion of a separate scholarship application. And so we do encourage you to review that page on our website and make sure you make note of the due dates for those. If you're a non-resident considering transferring into the University of Nebraska at Kearney, the other program we want to alert you to is called the New Nebraskan Scholarship. And that's a scholarship that waives the difference, or essentially doesn't make you pay non-resident tuition. It applies to your tuition charges and ensures that the amount that you actually pay is what a resident of Nebraska would pay. So that's called the New Nebraskan Scholarship, and all you have to do is apply for admission to receive the New Nebraskan Scholarship. It's an automatic thing and will be applied to your charges if you enroll at UNK and choose to attend here. Finally, we know that sometimes the data that you provide on the FAFSA, because it's prior year data, it's really 2-year-old information, we know that sometimes that may not be the most accurate financial picture of you and your family situation. So we do encourage you to let us know if you feel that information isn't an accurate picture of how you are doing currently financially. We have on our website, unk.edu, on the financial aid homepage, a special circumstance link. And I urge you to take a look at that, read the information on the website, and there's an electronic form that you can submit to alert our staff of a change in your financial situation. Again, we call that special circumstances. It's an electronic form on our website. And once you complete it, it's routed to a counselor in our office who will individually evaluate your situation with you, collect appropriate documents, and determine how we can best assist you with the fee payment process here at UNK. So we do urge you to let us know if you're in that situation. And finally, if you have any questions about financial aid or scholarships at UNK, contact us. Our phone number is 308-865-8520, or you can email us at finaid1@unk.edu. We're happy to answer any questions you might have, and thanks again for taking the time to learn more about scholarships and financial aid for transfer students at UNK.